Morning, Reverend Robertson, Reverend K.K. Chan, members of the DBS teaching faculty, boys. Welcome back to DBS. To begin, I would like to express my deep gratitude to everyone who has made our last year a most rewarding one. First of all, thank you, members of the teaching faculty, you who selflessly gave your time to help the students not only inside the classroom, but also outside, often sacrificing your own personal time to support the boys. Thank you, prefects, captains, chairmen, and officials of various organizations. We are grateful that you spent a tremendous amount of time getting our teams prepared for competitions, performances, and major projects. These senior boys sacrificed their time and effort to keep us strong and prepared for every challenge that came our way. Leaders, you are now in grade 12. We are truly grateful for the example you have set through your leadership and your actions. Your influence will not end today, even as you have passed the torch to the next generation. I wish you all the best in the great challenges that lie ahead of you. At the beginning of the year, I would like to take a moment to talk about the DBS spirit. What do you think of when we talk about the school spirit? What qualities come to your mind? Is it about the never say die fighting spirit? Is it about unity? Is it about passing the torch to the next generation? I have a feeling that leaders who are now in grade 12 may have many special insights in this. Would you all add to the above words like sacrifice, selflessness, perhaps spending time in the daily grind to work on your weaknesses? Before I go deeper into this subject, I'd like to share with you a short episode that happened in this hall a few months ago. It happened in June during your exam time on a warm Saturday afternoon. On that day, an old boy came to school to visit, bringing his son's wife, and his young grandson to revisit his old school and to take a few pictures around the campus. It has been quite a few years since he has been back at DBS, to say the least. This old boy is no ordinary old boy. He's now over 90 years old, and he was the only old boy I know that studied under Headmaster Sergeant. I have met old boys who have studied under Mr. Lowcock, under Reverend George Shee, and even Mr. Goodban, but I have never met a student who studied under Headmaster Sergeant until meeting this gentleman. During our conversation, this old boy mentioned that he remembered playing tennis with Headmaster Sergeant and having tea with him afterwards at the headmaster's house. He also remembered Reverend Sergeant as a person who loved music and especially enjoyed listening to operas. We walked around the hall. The old boy's family and I started walking around. He was in a suit and walked very respectfully, although understandably, very gingerly. I pointed to the banners around us and explained to him the evolution of the house system and how it grew from 4 houses to 6 and then to 8. Back in his days, as Reverend Sergeant was only the 4th headmaster, the houses were named after colors only and not after retired headmasters. After that, I pointed to the portraits on the ground floor around you here. I pointed out that the portraits of the retired headmasters are in chronological order, and I pointed to Mr. Lowcock, who was my headmaster when I was a student here. And gradually, I moved from the ones on your left around here to the ones on your left and all the way to the back. Finally, our sights settled on Headmaster Featherstone and then to Headmaster Sergeant towards the back of your hall, back of the hall to your right. Suddenly, As he was looking at the portrait of Reverend Sargent, something dawned on him, and he muttered, very softly and very simply, "My headmaster." What happened next really caught me by surprise. He started walking towards the portrait and stopped at about the distance of a bench. He stood for a few seconds and struck a quietly dignified pose, and then took a few bows reverently towards Mr. Sargent. Now, I have heard old boys talk with great respect about their headmasters, and I have seen a lot of things happen in the hall, but I've never seen anything quite like that. Here he was, a distinguished elderly gentleman, standing and bowing with such sense of respect. This old boy need not have done this, of course. No one asked him to. He himself has had an extremely successful career and is an iconic individual in the society already. But he did this spontaneously and humbly, expressing his respect from the bottom of his heart. Looking at him, I wondered if this is a lost quality now, to see the goodness outside of ourselves and in the people around us. Now, certainly, our teachers and I do not ask you to bow in front of us. If you want to do that, you can, but we don't ask that of you. But I think there's an important lesson here, and I wanted to use this short but significant episode to bring out a vital element in our school spirit, and that is the element of respect. The dictionary defined the word respect as admiring deeply as a result of other person's abilities, qualities, and achievement. When you respect a person, you deal with him or her with consideration, thoughtfulness, attentiveness, and politeness. Coming back to DBS, when you respect a tradition or the school spirit, you cherish it, and you place great value to it because you know that DBS was not built by you or any one individual here. DBS was built by those who came before us and have handed a wonderful legacy to us. And it is now up to us to uphold it. If you see DBS as a great institution, think about what makes it great. We talk about protecting the hill a lot. When we put on the school tie and represent the school, we want to do our best to represent DBS, whether it is in competition, in the competition arena, performance halls, science contests, and many more. I always tell people that the best part of my job is when I go out and watch you all represent the school to compete, to perform, to share, and to serve. Almost without exception, you always show your school spirit admirably. Now think about these qualities embodied in the school spirit and ask yourselves this: are we demonstrating the same spirit when we are here on Diocesan Hill? Are we showing our spirit by actively learning in class? Are we showing our spirit by keeping this wonderful campus tidy and green? Are we showing our spirit by working hard and working well with our schoolmates? Showing school spirit in the classroom means that you take an active role in learning. As DBS boys, there is a level of academic excellence I expect all of us to attain. This means actively engaging in the learning activities in the classroom instead of sitting back passively like customers or spectators, tuning in or out, or just criticizing. Always bear in mind that you are the one who will eventually have to compete with tens of thousands of candidates, whichever curriculum you choose. We want you to learn effectively because time is of essence. After the lessons, we want you all to fully engage in the activities outside of school because it equips us and supplements what we learn in classrooms with skills and qualities to be successful in the long term and not just in the exams. Showing school spirit on the Hill means that all of us take up the responsibility to keep our study space tidy and our campus orderly and clean, including the dining areas, the playgrounds, the rooms, and our surroundings. Showing school spirit on a personal level means that you treat each other with respect and celebrate each other's differences. One thing that is very special in DBS is that your schoolmates all have very different gifts than yours. Each person is outstanding in a special field or even fields. Learn from each other. Showing school spirit means honoring your uniform code. The uniform shows your identity as a DBS boy and the honor that comes with it. For each of you here, there are hundreds that we turn away. Do keep this in mind. The uniform is not to be abused as an expression of your personal style, but a statement of dedication to the place where you call home. The uniform is also a statement to say that once we enroll, we are all equals, and your background and other factors do not matter. Your personal whims must not stand in the way of the honor of the school, and your uniform is a reminder of that. So boys, remember the respectable senior old boy from Reverend Sargent's era, and think about the element of respect that is embedded in the school spirit. It will drive all that you do. This year, I would especially encourage you to show your spirit here on Diocesan Hill by doing the things we mentioned. When you engage in learning, when you are around the campus, when you spend time with your brothers, when you fight in the name of our diocesan school. In this new academic year, may we all hold fast to the school spirit and go forward as a family. May God always protect you, grant you wisdom and strength to lift up this precious diocesan brotherhood. Thank you.